Hi. People have been asking me for a new video. I had two of them planned that were going to be that should have been already published, but I wanted to do them on location, and the location's in Florida, and I'm in South Texas. We're having a drought here right now, so I have to be here to irrigate so that my cows will have grass. Got to irrigate the grass to make it grow. I'm going to give you a little brief summary of those two videos that I want to do. They're about a couple of murders that I actually saw Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers do. One I've told you already. Actually, I think I already mentioned about both of them. It was a little girl, 16 years old, preacher's daughter. And I saw John Anglin over there in that same sawgrass patch where those guys caught me, stabbing her. Now, I didn't actually see her. I saw them walk over there, and I saw them shove her into the sawgrass patch, and Frank told her to lay down, and John went in there with her, and I could see his head come up above the sawgrass and his arm up like this with a knife, and then it would go back down over and over and over with the meanest, craziest, angriest look that I've ever seen on a person's face. And after a little while, Frank stopped him and they changed places. But in the meantime, I want you to know that these guys were doing some sexual things with each other while they were watching this and doing it. Now, there was another one at a swimming hole where they tried to drown the kid, and the kid wouldn't stay under, and Frank got in the water and cut his throat. I was convinced it was a big fish that they had caught. I don't know why. We knew there were no fish in there. And Junior kept telling me, hey, they just drowned that kid and cut his throat. When we even went over there after they left, and we could see the blood floating across the water. I want to give you a good video on both of those, but I need to go to Florida. So people have been asking me to play a little more guitar, so I got out my acoustic, my Ventura. And I think I'm just going to play a couple of riffs for you real quick. That's enough. Now that I've brought out this sexual thing, there's quite a few pictures that Frank drew with little spots on them that look like male gametes, okay? Look that up if you don't know what it is. I don't want to be too graphic. And he said something to me about that and told me that it had something to do with that. I never remembered what it was, but that's what he was trying to tell me, was that that had to do with these murders. It was part of their enjoyment. God, it's gross. But anyway, I wanted to get that out into the open and let you guys know that this type of murderous personality that Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers had was deeply ingrained, to say the least. Now, there's a few other things that I want to tell you about, but it's all about Florida. Some of the D.B. Cooper money is buried down there, and I want to take you to the location where it's at and film it for you. And we've been there before. Now, there's also several times that they've attacked me that I've remembered. I remember this was kind of classic when I would see them, and I just thought there were kids in the neighborhood. They would carry a broom handle around with them, and gosh, I'm remembering more and more of this as I think about it. I gotta make a video on that. They would carry a bucket with a knife and their working clothes in them, like I told you about on my video about the sawgrass patch, and then they would carry that stick, and if anybody said anything to them, they'd tell them they were going fishing. It was their fishing pole. And they would just see kids out there by themselves, and they'd walk up to them and start beating them with that stick and beat them down and then cut their throat. Now, I remembered an area where Junior and I used to pass by to go to the store every day after school, and there was an area out there that was real nicely taken care of. I'm going to tell you when I get there on location to film it. I'm going to show you and tell you how it was taken care of. And it was just a small area, but every time we walked by there, the first time we walked by there, we stepped on it and we sunk in. So, the ground was really soft and we didn't know why, especially underneath this covering that they had there, natural vegetation type thing. And we noticed that every time we walked by there, that natural vegetation covering got bigger and bigger and bigger. In recollecting this, I recall that was maybe 15 feet by 15 feet, maybe 20 by 20, before it stopped growing, and it was big enough to bury 20 or 30 people. Kids, the way they bury little kids, they bury them on a little square about 2.5 feet by 2.5 feet. Somewhere in there, I recall seeing them carrying what looked like a rolled up carpet out there into those woods. That's how they would transport the bodies of the kids that they murdered, because people would think they were just carrying a carpet somewhere. If anybody saw them, they'd say, oh, we're just going to go throw this carpet away. Now, there's a couple other stories I want to tell you. There's one where they tried to get my mom. They tried to get in the car with my mom, and I got their attention away from her and got them to come running after me so that she could get away. All right, I'm gonna film that, but I really want to film it on location, because there was a little field next to this store where we were at the time. We were coming from grocery shopping, and she would go shopping and I would go play in the field. And I had several encounters with Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers in this field. And it would have been when I was about 10 years old, right when they escaped from Alcatraz, or even possibly before. It may have been as far back as 58, around 58, when they were escaped from some other prison. Even before the Anglin brothers robbed that bank in Alabama. Now, this is a really good story, but I really got to do it on location. I mean, I played Spanky and our gang to get these guys to chase me, and I managed to get away from them. I'm gonna bring you these stories. I just want you to know that I'm working on them. Things have to fall into place for me to go to Florida to film on location. And in the meantime, new subscribers and everything, leave your questions in the comment section. I'll be glad to answer them for you. Rude comments and that sort of thing will be reported and deleted. And those of you who are new subscribers, I want to thank you for subscribing. Please watch all my videos. We've got about 80 videos now. And I still have not... what I've filmed and made videos of, I'm going to say, is one half of what's in my mind and what keeps coming back to me. These guys were woven throughout my life. They killed a lot of my friends. I didn't really realize that. Frank told me one time in Mexico that, you know, that they had followed people before like they do me and couldn't get them, and they kept following them, and they finally would make them give up by taking all of their friends. And I remember even asking him, so are you telling me that I should give up? To me, it was just a game. Those guys following me around, and I always won it, so it didn't seem that big of a deal. And he, you know, kind of nodded yes, and I told him, you know, I'm never going to give up because I'm always going to beat you at this. And, you know, it made him angry. But I hope this will hold you over for a little while. I'm gonna get some of those videos out as soon as I can. I'm working on my book. I have met with a girl on Facebook, which if you all aren't connected up with me on Facebook, go look me up, David W. Coutcher, DC, and I'll be glad to talk to you. This girl I'm telling you about lives in Texarkana, just 100 feet or so from the location, I guess, where Morris Lane is at, where Frank did the Moonlight murders. Now, I want to go up there because she's really into that, and her great-grandmother actually met Frank around the time that he was doing those murders. I'm sure it was unbeknownst to her, but I want to investigate that. I need to go to Washington, D.C. I need to go to Florida. I need to go to Texarkana, but all those things take money, and yeah, unfortunately there's not a lot of that around right now. You guys keep watching my videos, and hopefully if I keep telling the truth about these guys, so that you guys will know what really happened with D.B. Cooper, Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers, the escape from Alcatraz, and the Zodiac killer. Enough people will get really interested in it and realize that, you know, nobody can make this many videos, as many as I have, about these guys and make all this up. It's not possible, okay? And then somewhere in there, people are going to really start getting on and start realizing that what really happened, and, you know, hopefully I'll get more subscribers and we'll get more hits, and in that process I will be able to get some professional lighting and cameras and a camera crew, and maybe even some actors to go through some of these parts with me and make some really good videos for you. But in the meantime, I'm doing the best I can. God bless all of you, and I hope to see you soon on the next video.